New York City. Just saying the name brings up all these images, right? Skyscrapers, yellow cabs, a million different stories all happening at once. But have you ever wondered how this relatively small island became the global icon we all know? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to break down the key moments that built the city that, never sleeps.
I mean, just look at this. You've got everything from the Statue of Liberty to Times Square, even the UN headquarters. Modern New York is just a city of absolutely incredible scale and influence. It really does feel like the center of the world. But to get how it got here, we've got to look at some numbers, and then we're going to rewind the clock way back.
So let's start with the sheer scale of it all. You're looking at a population of over 8.5 million people. And to put that into perspective, if New York City were its own state, it would actually be the 13th most populous in the entire country. That's more people than in Virginia or Washington State. It's that raw human mass that just fuels the city's nonstop energy.
And here's the really wild part. All those millions of people, they're packed into just over 300 square miles. Now, this incredible density isn't just about crowded sidewalks. No, it's kind of the city's secret sauce. It creates this amazing pressure cooker for innovation, forcing people and ideas and cultures to crash into each other, sparking that creativity and relentless drive that New York is so famous for. Okay, this one might be the most incredible of all. We're talking about over 800 languages spoken in the 5 boroughs. That makes New York the most linguistically diverse city on the entire planet. It's not just a melting pot, it's a true global crossroads. I mean, you can literally hear the entire world on a single subway ride. It's amazing. So these numbers are just staggering, right? But even they don't capture the whole story. The city's influence stretches so far beyond its own borders, which really begs the question, is it really the capital of the world?
It's a title a lot of people have given it, and it's a pretty hard claim to argue with. Its impact on finance, on art, on international diplomacy, it is home to the UN. It's just undeniable. But this global capital, well, it started as something much, much smaller.
Okay, so let's rewind the clock. We're going all the way back to the 17th century. Back then, this island was known as Mannahatta, a land of hills and forests and streams, home to the Lenape people. And it was right on the verge of being transformed forever by a tiny little European trading post. So the foundation was first laid by the Dutch way back in 1624. They called it New Amsterdam. But just 40 years later, in 1664, the English just sailed in, took control without a single fight, and renamed it New York, in honor of the Duke of York.
And wow, this just shows the transformation perfectly. On the left, you've got New Amsterdam in 1664, a small, fortified little settlement. And on the right, that exact same piece of land today. The change, it's almost unimaginable, isn't it? Now, part of this whole origin story is the legendary purchase of Manhattan from the Lenape people. You've probably heard the story of $24 in beads, but that's mostly a myth. Records show it was for 60 guilders worth of goods. But the real story here is a total clash of cultures. The Lenape probably saw it as a temporary deal to share the land, a concept that was completely alien to the European idea of permanent, exclusive ownership. All right, let's jump forward to the 19th century and see how this thing starts to build. This is when New York truly exploded, becoming the nation's biggest city and a total magnet for people from all over the world. All through the 1800s, you had these huge waves of immigration, especially from Ireland and Germany, and they just fundamentally changed the city. Neighborhoods like the Lower East Side, which you see right here, became these crowded, vibrant hubs of culture that really shaped New York's identity. Then came the pivotal moment that created the city we know today. In 1898, 5 totally separate counties, each one a city or town in its own right, they all merged into one single massive metropolis. This great consolidation created a city with the population, the tax base, and the sheer geographic scale to finally compete on the world stage. And this great consolidation brought everyone together. You had Brooklyn, the most populous, Queens, the largest in area, Manhattan, the historic core, the Bronx, and of course, Staten Island. Each one with its own totally unique character, but now all together forming one single city. So, with its new, unified form, New York storms into the 20th century, ready to define itself on the world stage. This era was a real crucible, forging the skyline and the character that we all recognize today. So,
The early 20th century saw a literal race to the sky. I mean, it was fueled by ambition, by fierce competition. Builders were just pushing higher and higher. Icons like the Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building battled it out for the title of world's tallest. And in the process, they forever defined the city's vertical identity and its relentless, unstoppable drive. Then after World War II, New York emerged as the undisputed leading city of the world. And that status was really cemented when it was chosen as the permanent home for the United Nations, making it, without a doubt, the center of global diplomacy.
But the city's influence wasn't just built with steel and concrete. You know, that same density that sparked all that economic growth, it also made it a flashpoint for social change. In 1969, the Stonewall riots in Greenwich Village became a massive turning point for the gay liberation movement, a fight for human rights that echoed out from this one city across the entire globe.
Okay, let's bring the story into our own time. The 21st century presented the city with its greatest challenge yet. It forced it, once again, to prove its toughness and its incredible capacity for reinvention. The September 11th attacks were a defining moment of absolute tragedy. It was the largest loss of life from a foreign attack on American soil, and it was a profound, profound test of the city's spirit.
But in the face of that unbelievable devastation came an extraordinary rebirth. From the ashes rose the new One World Trade Center, its spire reaching a symbolic 1,776 feet, a powerful statement of defiance and renewal. The skyline was wounded, for sure, but it wasn't broken. It was remade.
You know, if you had to pick just one word to define the story of New York, it's got to be this one: resilience. From a tiny trading post to a global superpower, its history is a story of overcoming challenges, of absorbing change, and always rebuilding.
And that brings us right up to today. The story of New York is never really finished, is it? It's like a book with endless chapters still to be written. It's going to face new challenges, climate, economics, culture, you name it. But for a city built on resilience and just defined by reinvention, the question isn't if it will change, but how it's going to transform itself next.